Hey there. So thankful today that we are interviewing Erin and the incredible human that she is and the company that she has designed, Achieving with Erin. And we get to learn from her today. And when I met Erin for the first time, it was at a farmer's market. And what was so incredible was, when somebody has such special energy when they're standing at an event and they have this aura around them that's so welcoming and joyous that she didn't have to be there, she chose to be there. And she was sharing her bakery items, and it was very memorable. And what's so significant is that people's energy really matters because it's authentic. And when you're aligned, you know when you see someone else in their gift of genius. And so I was so thankful to have gotten to know her. And so on that day, I learned that that was one piece of her multifaceted puzzle into what she's designed. And I was with my kiddos and we absolutely fell in love with her. And so now that we get to join together, I have some questions for her as a business owner, as a mom, as a wife, and she's going to share her nuggets. And hopefully, where you are today, that you can be inspired by her action and and maybe even what she has created could be something that benefits you. So, Miss Erin, do you want to share a little bit more about you?
Wow, that was one hell of an intro. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Um, no, I don't know how to follow that up. So yeah, I when you and I met, I was selling cookies. I started a cookie business, which kind of got curated after my father passed away. I just needed something joyful and sweet and happy in my life. And over this past year, I started realizing that though I love baking cookies, and yes, they're amazing.
Ridiculous, like ridiculous. Like my mouth is watering right now when I remember coming up to your table going, I mean, they're beautiful and they taste good. Because sometimes goods look really good. And then you're like, yeah, okay, they're prettier than they taste. No, no, no. They are so good. My mouth is watering right now.
Thank you. But I knew I was meant for something bigger. So prior to this whole cookie thing, again, love doing it, still gonna attend some farmers markets. But I came from my background, so we'll go back. So my background is in psychology. I've let my license lapse over the last few years, but I do have a limited license, professional counseling license, and that is my true background. So I've worked in the Michigan Department of Corrections. I've worked with people in addictions at the methadone clinic. I worked on the psych ward at Crittenton Hospital. I know these things you don't know about me. Yeah. So yeah, that's always been my thing. Since growing up, I've had this energy with people that just come to me and like ask me. They don't even ask me, they just start telling me their life. And I've had this gift of just listening. And then sometimes, depending on the person, like I'll respond, well, this is what I would do. And not knowing that that's what I was doing. Like I was coaching, I was being a therapist. I did not know this. Um, so that's kind of where the beginnings of what I do with women now, the coaching that I do came from. But it actually really stemmed from my story when I was 15 and I had some trauma that happened, and it led me into, because I never told anybody, which I guess I could just tell the story. When I was 15, we had moved to New York and we moved back, and I wanted to go to my same high school that I had left when we left Michigan. And I lived with family friends. They were like my mom and dad, they were really good friends with these people. And so, long story short, I'm 15, I'm in the shower, and I thought I closed the shower door, but sometimes it pops open a little bit and it's like that little sliver. Well, I open the shower curtain, 15-year-old girl trying to grab my towel, and I just see eyes peering at me. And I think that was the start of like my emotional and mental like breakdown. And then proceeding on, like 20 minutes later, I'm getting into bed and I shared a room with his son and daughter. And, I saw him come in. So I turned over and he sat on the bed and kind of reached his hand across. And I just thank God that something made me turn around. I don't know if he was going to touch me inappropriately or what, but I turned around and he got startled. And honestly, since that day, like I I internalized that and I took that as like that was a violation. I lucky and thank God that nothing actually physically transpired from it. But that from that moment forward for years, almost 15 years, like I held that when inside, didn't tell anybody. And so the first part of this is that the only thing I can control was when I was feeling these emotions or feeling violated by people. I wasn't aware at that time on how to process. So I ate. And then from there on, I became an overeater. So I wasn't diagnosed with binge eating, but I was an emotional overeater. And that happened for years. And then with overeating comes weight gain. And so I started gaining weight, and no one would ever really know. I'm one of those people, I'm a mesomorph, so I hold it very well, but I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And so I'll be 47. And so growing up in that time, the 90s, right, there weren't a lot of Black role models. So I only saw blonde hair, blue eyed, skinny, and, reading Elle and Cosmo and all that stuff. So dating myself, but
It's okay if it makes you feel better. I'm older than you, so it's all good.
well, okay, good. I'm just kidding.
Well, but you
But
know what I mean?
that,
Like, it's the worst when you say like a Rolodex and somebody goes,
oh, yeah. The what?
yeah. So I 100% follow, and if someone else doesn't, they'll catch up.
Okay, it's okay.
Right?
Right. But for me, like that was the external world for me, right? That's all I saw. And so, I started looking in the magazines, and it's, the latest diets and whatnot. So I think I was on my first diet. I put myself on when I was 18. I mean, it's, that was 96, but still I was 18, and it was calories in, calories out restricting. And then that just started the trajectory of gaining, losing, gaining, losing. And still had the emotional like trauma going on. So my body was just in this ball of like just it was just in this ball. Like it couldn't hold on anymore. My cortisol had like tanked out now that I know this now. But
Yeah.
so the constant dieting, the constant restricting, and then feeling not confident, having this lack of self-awareness and not trusting myself and feeling like I didn't belong. I love her, my best friend, right? Like super gorgeous and beautiful. And, me and her hung out, and I was with I'm myself when I'm with her. But when we were out, I just felt like, okay, all eyes were on her. No one wanted to pay attention to me. And I would just want to like shrivel up. I hated the way I looked in clothes. And, it's that spiral that I think any woman that is going through any type of um, either trauma, weight loss issues, any of that can relate to and understand. And I just wasn't myself. I was on birth control when I hit 16 for acne. I mean, I had cystic acne, and that didn't know then, but knowing now, that played a huge role in like my hormones. Even though it's low dose, my estrogen was recycling through my body. And again, every diet I was on, pill, powder, shake, was ruining my gut, ruining my digestive system. And so I started into fitness and nutrition. So I started doing that when I was 19 years old, and I loved it. Like it gave me a purpose. I love lifting weights in the gym. I love feeling strong. And I lost weight doing that and I felt good. And this love hate thing started going on with my weight. And I started taking the HCG drops at the time. And I
Mm.
got to my lowest weight. I was 138 and I thought I was, hot shit. But I still felt, I still felt dead inside, to be honest. And I continued this cycle for years, the binge eating, the up and down, up and down. And honestly, it was in the last 10 years, I got really sick. And when I say sick, it wasn't like it was sick in the sense of I stopped going to the bathroom.
Mm.
I had my very most like embarrassing moment was on coming home from St. Louis driving, and I had to use the bathroom so bad. And my stomach was bloated. Like this is what's been happening for years too. I'm distended. I look like I'm 6 months pregnant. I don't know why. Foods I eat start to irritate me. Um, and I had to pull over. So I go to the restroom on the side of the road and I'm just sitting there and I'm like trying to go to have a bowel movement. I could not do it. And my lowest point was that I literally had to manually have one. And I remember crying and I thought this cannot be my life. Like I cannot do this the rest of my life. I mean, I was taking magnesium citrate, drinking bottles at a time. And I went home and I tried to find answers, doctors, there's really nothing we could do. It's probably IBC, right? Here's some Linzess. And since I can remember, I don't like taking medication and I didn't take it. And I was like, there's got to be an answer. Well, on top of that, I was having very long, heavy cycles. Like
Mm.
I bled heavy. I'm talking, I would change an ultra tampon and pad every 40 minutes, if not
Mm.
every half hour. It was glued to the bathroom. And again, I go to the doctor and she's like, well, they did the ultrasound, whatever. I have fibroids. I have five of
Mm.
them, three the size of golf balls, two the size of tennis balls. And she says, okay, well, the only thing we can do really is a hysterectomy.
Mm.
And I
How old were
thought
you?
about that for a very long time. I was 37. Yeah. And I went home and I cried. I was like, what is going on with me? Like, I can't go to the bathroom. I'm having periods that are just lasting literally all year long, all year long. And I just remember thinking, okay, well, if this is the only way this is going to cure at least my cycle, I'll do it. So I did. I had the hysterectomy. And after that,
Hey, Erin, can you hear me? You are frozen. We lost her. This is where, if you know me, I say, I love technology. I love technology. I love technology. So I'm going to hold space that she's going to come back and she's going to, I feel like this is a commercial break. So this is a commercial break for you to stop and take time for yourself. However, whenever The best place to do that is the first when you wake up and right before you go to bed, whether it is in prayer, meditation, stretching, an extra glass of water. Um, there's so many different ways to plan ahead for yourself and be able to take care of yourself and getting in a healthy routine. And something that I've been really working on is habit stacking because habit stacking is such a good thing to do. Um, so like for me this morning, I recognize that I love and enjoy coffee more so in the winter than ever before when it's super cold. Yet my habit of grabbing coffee without a glass of water was not necessarily great. So I've been focused on drinking a glass of water before I drink coffee. I was doing a little commercial break while you came back because you froze. And can you hear me? Oh, she's getting her microphone. I love technology. I love technology. I love technology
What's
because
going on?
I know I lost
I
you.
don't know what happened.
Your face froze and it turned to just a dark screen, like you were gone, but I could hear your voice and then you were completely, everything was gone. So I did a little commercial and I was like, oh, well, let's talk about different things, the way you can take care of you while Erin comes back. And now you're frozen. Mm, so good. I love technology. I love technology. Mm. I love technology. I love technology. And it's the best when it works. And we just
It,
pivoted because I did a little commercial break while you were gone. And I was like, let's talk about how you can take care of yourself, extra water, all these different things. Because I was like, I'll have to see about my editing skills. Yet this is also part of what we said this morning was like, today's a little odd. It is
it
like,
is,
it's a
yeah,
I feel like that's what's happening in one of my clients was talking about like the universe and the planets and all these things that like science of me doesn't, I don't dial into the information and it's unfamiliar. So my
yeah,
knowledge like this big. And so she
yeah,
was talking about shifts and like, I feel it. I legit
yeah,
feel it. And it goes back to the Friends episode of pivot.
yeah.
Pivot. And again, for all the people who don't watch Friends or they were born after Friends, I'm like, well, let me just tell you, it's like taking a couch through a stairwell and the couch gets stuck and you're like, come on. And they're all right. So you froze when you were
I
talking
know.
about your hysterectomy. So,
Okay, so I'll back up to the hysterectomy and just how everything with my digestion got actually worse. And I tried to figure it out. I spent many years trying to figure it out. But in that sector of time, I did start my coaching, Erin Avery Fitness. And I helped many women lose weight, like just by the natural protocol of, what I thought I was doing that was supposed to help, lifestyle changes, nutrition. And I got frustrated with that.
Recording in progress.
your computer
So,
exploded.
okay, let's close that part. It decided to pop back up on the
I
computer.
love technology. I love technology. It's amazing. And funkalicious sometimes too.
Okay. So yes, started that business, helped many women, great at that, but my body was not changing. So
Mm.
I took a pivot with that and actually outside of a lot of other things, which I'm sure we'll get into. And I found functional nutrition. So trying to speed up that story since we've had to do it 6 different times. I found functional nutrition last year and it was the best decision that I could have ever made within weeks, my inflammation was gone. And now my story is I was never really fat. I was very inflamed. And we'll get into, maybe the reasons why, which was the birth control, all the up and down yo-yo dieting, and then our just crap foods that we eat.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah, I look back and I think, oh my God, when I thought eating protein bars and eating less food was the way to go, it really wasn't. I had done so much damage with all the things that I was just so inflamed and my body was just like it was done. But I did a whole panel testing. So we tested my omegas, we tested all my hormones, heavy metals, everything. And like I said, within it was 10 days and I had lost like 6 pounds of inflammation. I was like, oh my God. And we started me on a protocol that was for anti-inflammatory, healing the gut, which is huge, especially if you're someone that's been chronic dieting, right? So healing the gut. And then I went back to what I naturally was doing years and years ago, which was journaling and really getting back into the mind body connection because I mean, yes, weight loss was something that I wanted. I actually just wanted to feel good, but you can't feel good if this isn't right. So I had to go back into that space of personal development, writing, journaling, and just focusing on, what energy I wanted to start feeling again, playing with again, my future self, how I saw her, how she got there, and I'm still there, right? It's an ongoing game. Um, but yeah, so this last year has just been fantastic. So I actually got certified in functional nutrition and I've been learning a lot about myself. I've been learning more and more, going back into my psychology days and just trying to piece things together with the whole mastery of self. And I started my now new baby, Achieve with Erin. So that's where we're at today.
I love it. And I think this is what I love about this opportunity is that so many times with social media, we see you here, da, 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 da,
Mhm.
and not realizing like the process in which, and it's like when we have the funky things in life and they're not necessarily marketed on social media. They're not. I mean,
Mhm.
like there's certain things we don't want to repeat,
Mhm.
and it's awarenesses, but that's also the process that people don't know, like the truth of why you're here and what it means to you, because it was
Yeah.
that first point in that space where you were looking at life and at 15, like how young you
Mhm.
were. And
Yeah.
I mean, something as sacred as your space of where you rest, like
Mhm.
like that one
Yeah.
safe haven. That's the
Yeah.
one place that is so sacred. And I didn't quite realize how sacred that was until I read the book Let Them by Mel Robbins. And there's a
Mhm.
chapter in there that she talks about how she allowed her second child, her daughter, to sleep on their floor for 6 months because she was having, bad dreams and stress and fear. And she didn't see like it was a big deal because here she was as a mom, like, oh, just sleep here. I want you to sleep. It's really important you sleep. I sleep, and it's all good. But
Yeah.
psychologically, when she went to a therapist, the therapist said it was wreaking havoc on her daughter's brain to say, you're not strong enough to be on your own in your bed to rest. And so it was one of those where I was like, wow, as a parent and how, you make those choices and, like, and as I was listening to the book, as I was driving down the road thinking, and then
Mhm.
that's what happened to, that it happened to
Mhm.
you in a bed. Thank God it was like I was literally in fear for like the next, like all
Yeah.
the different levels of where it could have gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yet it's the fear of your rest, probably like the healing of your rest and how you've not been able to rest,
Mhm.
which is in the healing of your body for
Yeah.
years. And
Years.
then years. And then the part that you're talking about, like so many women, I literally was thinking about this today that like, dang, took me how many years to know how healthy it is to actually poop every single day.
Yeah.
Feel so
I
good
could.
about it because the
Hmm.
stress that we hold, it's like, no, I'm just gonna, no, I want to keep this. I want to keep all the shit inside of
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
and realize I had my appendix out and it was, Declan was 9 months to the day. And we were in the emergency room in the middle of the night. And I swear it was like a scene out of Grey's Anatomy. Like it was like a movie where all these male doctors of all different ages felt like they were all like 21, but they
Yeah.
probably were a little older than that. And they're all in there in training and they're asking me about all of my stuff. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, why are we having this conversation about my poop in front
Right.
of all these people that are
Yeah.
men? And I'm looking at my husband and I was like, are you serious right now? And that was my moment of like, this is, like I didn't know what I didn't know. And
Hmm.
it was wild because was I was 37.
Oh, we were going through the same kind of thing at the same age. Well, around the
I'm a
same
little
age.
older. I'm a little older, but yeah, but that
Yeah.
same age, that
Yeah.
mark of like, dang, I didn't know. So I'm so thankful to learn from you because I believe that your depth of knowledge is so important because you had that personal learning, unfortunately.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's also so much more powerful because you're speaking from a place of truth. And then
Right.
that 6-inch drop from our head to our heart that
Mhm.
really makes that absolute, I just got the chills all over. And the fact that your passion becomes your purpose. And so many
Yeah.
times women don't know what their purpose is because they're, circling and circling a mountain instead of gradually inclining their learning to realize that
Mhm.
they'll have a greater scenery and they get to take people with them on the path because it's such a common
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
common.
Yeah. No, I mean, when I was going through it, of course, I'm like, why? And, I went through a phase where I remember I was like, you know what? I'm just going to forgive him for what he did so I can move on. Cause it really did it even affected, my relationships with men. Like I
Your
don't like to
trust,
be, I
your
don't like
trust.
being, if you touch me, I was ready to fight. Like, don't touch me. I didn't ask you to touch me because it just triggered it. It affected me and my husband like for a while. And I was like, listen, because I never told him. And I told him, and I'm like, this is why. Like, no, like, but I'm okay with it now. But that was a huge thing. And also learning that that trauma was part of the reason why I could not go to the bathroom. It's part of the reason why my gut was so off. Like all of these things, it transpired, which, with functional medicine, that's how I started learning about all of that. Like, yes, it had to do with my diet and the rebounding of weight, but a lot of it had to do with my central nervous system being shot. And it started being shot when I was 15.
And
So,
probably sooner than that too, because if you look at like before it was magazines and it was what was on
oh,
TV,
yeah.
and then now it's social media for
Hmm.
not just kids, but for all of us. And in that
Yeah.
highlight reel, you know,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
not realizing how those situations are not necessarily for us,
Right.
so wow.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
what would you say is the most important lesson that you've learned on this journey to success?
So the most important lesson is to always bet on myself. I feel like a lot of us, especially women, first of all, we don't trust in ourselves. There's that lack of self-trust, which is because of, we're not aware. But I've learned that I have to bet on myself because no one else is going to. Um, Growing up,
Hold on, can you erase it? Can you like say that again?
have to bet on yourself because no one else is going to. No matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's a business. It doesn't matter if, you're going through a program. It doesn't matter if you're just trying to you know, win a game on your phone playing solitaire. Like you have to bet on yourself because no one else is going to do that. And, it took a lot of practice. It's not easy to bet on yourself. I mean, so from a business standpoint, you have, like you just said, the highlight reel of everybody else and where they're at in their business. And that's a lot of the reason why my first one flopped because I didn't bet on myself. I kept looking to, oh, well, this person's doing it this way. And I'm going to be honest, like I tried to copy the model. I tried to, obviously it was my own spin, but copy that model. And it wasn't coming from an authentic spot, which is another thing is another lesson that I learned is that you have to come from an authentic place in everything you do. Because if you do not, you're going to get that energy match that you're giving off. And if it's not authentic, you're not going to get anything good in return.
Agreed.
So those
So,
would probably be the two big lessons is to bet on yourself and to be authentic in everything you do and do it with integrity.
mhm. So true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how do you maintain your focus and clarity on your vision, especially when you're faced with challenges, self-doubt, being a mom, being busy, all those things?
I write.
Yes.
I journal all the time. This is actually a journal from a dear friend, Roxy Safai.
Yay,
But
Roxy.
yeah, love Roxy. Um, so yeah, I've always written, and I kind of lost that somewhere along the lines, but I've always written poetry. I've always gone to some type of form of even music. Music's probably my first love, but I've expressed myself through some creative outlet. So now when I'm feeling stuck, I write. I write out the question, like what's making me stuck, and then without judgment and just going in to see what answers come up, I find answers and I find that clarity. And then with my hand in my heart, I just kind of say, Erin, where are we leading me now? And I that's what I have to do. And if it's a challenging time, especially being a mom of now a 4-year-old, I have to go deep within.
There is
I,
there is nothing like being a parent. I mean, it is the
yeah.
absolute biggest blessing and one of the most challenging when you're looking
Mhm.
at a little version of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I
So
mean,
that's
like,
why I have to go deep.
yeah, it's a whole experience that, yeah, it's an absolute blessing, but yet, um, a dose of, at least for me, is lots of patience because I can be like,
Hmm.
well,
Yep.
okay. Huh. And
Yep.
I'm at this little new spot with as teens, and I'm like, oh, well, that was new.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And my first answer for everything at this moment is, do you need to eat some food?
Are
And
they just hairy little teenagers?
well, it's different. We've got Declan who's 13 and Lucy is 11. So the 2 years I can see is different, and boy versus girl, very different,
Mhm.
very different. Um, so for both of them, more so Declan right now, I can just tell because he's really in that, like he's changing. Like every day I like feel like he's just a little bit taller, and because of my height, I see it and feel it a lot faster because I'm like, oh great, now I'm looking up to you. I'm not sure how I
Yeah.
feel about this. Um, I'll just go put on a pair of heels.
Right.
And yeah, but yeah, it's just an awareness, but it's the learning. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
being aware of what's happening and the options because when you start to recognize all these tools and all these resources that we have at our fingertips and what we
Hmm.
tend to grab that really makes things either terrible or
Yeah.
they can make them better,
Yeah.
but that learning. So,
But that's the thing. It's that awareness, right? Like if you're not aware, and it's a hard practice. It is a very hard practice. I remember a couple years ago, it was like, what was the big thing is uh, be present, which it's still relevant today, but be present, but also be aware of what's happening between head and heart. Roxy, she really opened me up to, which is what I love to teach now too, is that the heart's also a brain. Didn't really know that. And when she started talking about that, I'm like, oh my God. Because another thing for me growing up, my dad always said, think with your head, not with your heart. I
mm,
was very heart centered as a child.
very
That's probably
empathetic.
why yes. And that's why he said that. And that kind of isolated me too. Like it shut me down a little bit. And when Roxy explained that, like that the heart is another brain, I was like, holy shit, like that's where I come from. But that was kind of knocked out of me. God rest in peace, dad. And he did the best, he did what he had to do. And now that I'm older, I think he really meant for me to like really think about things first before you just go.
Mhm.
But at the same time, anyways, that's a whole nother episode.
Well,
But
and it's such a great example of recognizing that in your father, he was wanting to protect you
yeah,
because he is a father, but also a father of a daughter is very different. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And being that, I think that's the feminine and masculine energy that
yes,
can be so confusing in the world
yes,
of like, okay, he's recognizing that your heart is great and loves your
hmm,
heart, but his fear was your heart
yeah,
because your little
yeah,
girl always have, always will be, right?
yeah,
And so that
yeah,
recognizing that space and how precious it is, but I think sometimes we get so like this or that
right,
versus
right,
and, and okay, I
yeah,
feel this and I know this. And it's
right,
knowing that you said is so important and
yeah,
it's not acknowledged, but that's clearly what he was doing for you,
hmm,
acknowledging that space.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, the head and heart, they operate together. They're partners, right? They do this dance together. One is like the protector and one is like let's lead here. And if we get in trouble, like that masculine comes in and says, okay, I got you. Right? Like, okay, let's do some work. Let's move. So, um, I forgot what we were talking about. The question.
You said it over facing challenges,
Oh
focusing
yeah.
on overcoming debt or doubt, the doubt that we have.
Have you been in my bank account? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know what though? I was gonna say, because in my little notes here, it's is doubt, and I always think to myself, it's areas of doing without. And
No.
as women, I think a lot of times we do that in finances, and
Mm-hmm.
yet also what you're recognizing and you're showcasing that we do without. And what I'm learning personally from the women that I work with is they do without for themselves in the area of calories and protein and planning. They do everything
Hmm.
for everybody else. And then they're like, well, I just not sure why I'm so depleted or the O word that
Hmm.
people really know it's not the good O word. It is the bad O word that once you say you're overwhelmed, like you're sunk because you've been
Yeah.
thinking it for a really long time because the doubt has been other places. Typically,
Hmm.
we're doing without somewhere or another, and
Yeah.
it's missing out on the opportunity to receive those gifts and receive those opportunities because that flow will keep coming. But then it's that frustrating of like, I gotta hang on
Right.
to this because I doubt there's more, whatever it is. So,
Well, it's that back to masculine feminine. That's another part of that I had to learn to lean into is because as women, we are stuck in that masculine because I mean, we do everything, especially if we have kids, right? That's what we do. We make the doctor's appointment. We take to the doctor's appointment. We make sure the house is clean. People are fed. Like it just goes on and on. And we don't have that time to be in that feminine of play, flirting with ourselves, like feeling sexy. I just look in the mirror and I wink at myself like, You got this, bitch. Like we don't do that. We
I just
don't
got the
play.
chills. I just got the chills because it is your reflection and that choice to see
Yes.
yourself differently and allow yourself to be like, because
Yeah.
back to your first point of, if you're not going to celebrate yourself, how will
Right.
you expect anyone else to?
Yeah. So I think, and that's one of the things too with weight loss, since that's what I do for women. It's you have to play. You have to let, if you're with your partner as a man, right? You have to let him take those responsibilities sometimes so that you can take care of yourself. And I don't mean to go get a mani pedi, which is great, but I mean really take care of you. And journaling is one that's like the top way that I do it. But it's really taking care of you and your feminine, getting out there, go do a dance, play in the, go run in the snow, something.
Mhm.
Just take care of you.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I think you already answered, even though you didn't know my question, was in habits. Yet, do you have any other daily habits or practices other than journaling?
Yes. So I take care of my body. I'm an athlete. I train most days. I will say at least 4 out of 7. Sometimes I try and be in there 5. Um, I write. And then I do like to bake. So I will bake every once in a while. Unfortunately, we don't really eat a lot of baked goods here, but I'll bake with Jameson. That's part of my feminine flow. Music. I dance around the house. Jameson and I have dance parties. Um, and then I like to do stuff with I create. So I'm usually on my computer and I'll try to like on Canva, I'll create things just for play. There's nothing to do with business or anything. I'll just get on there and try to do designs of things. And I like to read. So
What's
that's it.
the what's the last book that really made an impact on your heart?
Oh, I'm reading Forever Strong right now.
Ooh, who's that by?
That is Dr. Gabrielle Lyon.
Mm.
She's a muscle centric, she's an actual doctor, and she wrote this about being like her thing is that we don't have an obesity problem, we have a muscle problem. And once we fix
Mm.
the muscle
Mm.
problem, but that one is more for me and my mind and like working with clients. Stephen Furtick,
Mm.
cannot think of that book he just wrote. I can't even think of the name right now. You
Oh,
have it.
this wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
Mhm.
say, I think his first book that came out. I was trying to see the cover of it.
It's blue.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, what's the name of it? I read it so long ago.
Oh,
But I love Steven.
oh, he is so phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I lent it out. I was like, I don't see it up there. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He, he's
That
brilliant. I love seeing what he's created. Oh, did you see he's coming to Detroit?
no.
Oh, you didn't? Elevation. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Elevation Live is coming to Detroit.
Yes, yes, yes.
Are
I
we
will.
going?
Yes, absolutely. It's in March, and you just reminded me because I had sent it to one of my guides in the Worthy Collective who lives here in Michigan. I was like, let's figure this out. And she's like, okay. And then it was one of those that dropped off. So it was meant to
Yeah.
say, and we will figure that out. I'll message you. Maybe I'll put you in a message together. It'd be so much fun
Yeah.
to get seats together.
Yes.
I love seeing what he's created. It's so significant. And I think that someone like that gives hope to like recognizing what platform we have today is not just one thing. Like
Yeah.
he had a vision to create a church, done.
Yeah.
Added music like no other, done.
I
Now he's
know.
traveling, he's writing books. Like what gifts we have that are
Hmm.
limitless when we keep taking action in a powerful state. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Do the new you.
Do the New You. That was the name of the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Okay, mine was old and it was his original first one. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I was thinking. I don't know that new one. So do the New
I
You.
will give it to you. You can read it.
Love it. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So, if you could give one piece of advice to women stepping into their power and striving for their best selves, what would
Mhm.
that be?
I am, it sounds repetitive, but it goes back to the heart and being true and authentic to yourself. I don't think you can really step into your power if you don't know who you are. And
Mic drop. Like, oh my gosh, like super chills. I love it. Okay, so
that's that's it. Yeah.
simple, right? It's and I think that's what is so fascinating to me after so many years
Hmm.
of how complicated we've made it.
Yeah.
Like,
Very complicated. I
seriously.
think because and especially now, I know for us, for older gals, right? It started so
What? Hey,
long ago.
we're not older, we're wise.
We're wiser girls,
Okay,
yes.
okay,
The
thanks.
wiser.
Thanks.
That's
Thanks.
why us wiser women, right?
Yes,
We,
thanks.
and I speak for myself, like it's just normal for people in general, even the ones coming up. Like we look externally to see like, how am I supposed to act? How am I supposed to be? What's right and what's wrong? And we don't really we're not heart centered. We're very externally influenced, and we put on different hats thinking it's us because now it's habitual that we're making these different moves. But when you really sit down and you're like, does this feel real, right, and true to me? I think oftentimes we say no. Like if we're being honest with ourselves, if we sat down and just said, is this real, right, and true? I think most women would say no, you
I
know?
I think, oh, that's so powerful in recognizing that how often women don't stop to even ask the question.
Right?
I
Yeah.
think that's the part that's been fascinating to me about this interview process. How many women have so many questions over it, and they're like, well, what are you expecting? And I'm like, truth, light, love, learning.
Hmm.
And then wherever it goes and however it goes, you know what I mean? Like, but that's who I am. And then I see where they are in that concern. And I'm like, oh, that makes me so sad because your story is so unique. I didn't know all that, yet I knew there was some drive somewhere, somehow, because you are not purposely working to make a difference if it weren't for your experiences. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, you stay comfortable. You
Hmm.
like, it's like the zombie nation of like, let's just do life. And it's
Yeah.
okay because they're not, someone is not ready to like be uncomfortable because you get
Yeah.
super uncomfortable running your own stuff,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not giving up after the Zoom
Right.
goes away, and does its
Yeah.
thing, right? It's that
Yeah.
pivot of recognizing like the message is so inspiring to recognize how simple it really is. Such truth.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, is there anything else that's on your heart that you would love to share about you, what you're creating, an invitation that you would like to share?
Yeah. So Achieve with Erin, it's very new-ish because it is something that I'm very passionate about because I want to combine the functional nutrition aspect with mindset work.
Mm.
So it's those two meet each other because I really do find that you really can't, because of the rest of my, there's a lot of other background, but you can't really, this is not mine. This is a quote that Roxy says all the time. She was my mentor, is the inner shapes the outer.
Mm,
And I firmly believe that when it comes, you could take that so many directions, but the way that I'm taking it with my business is that you can't really achieve any type of weight loss, body changes, anything if you are not whole, authentic, and pure with yourself on the inside.
mm,
Because no matter how many diets you try, and raising my hand, that was me, no matter what happened, what I tried to do, nothing was going to change. My outside wouldn't change because I wasn't right on the inside. And so that's what my coaching does. It's a lot of mindset work. It's really heart driven on top of, doing the hormone testing and helping women heal their gut so that they can have the weight loss that they're looking for, or just to feel happy and healthy in their bodies and comfortable on their skin. I'm starting to do more hormone because now that we're in this whole
Mm.
perimenopause state, right? There's a lot that goes into that and working with the hormones and optimizing the hormones so that you don't feel wiggity whacked all the time. Um, and again, you have to do a lot of heart work, a lot of mindset work with that as well, because it ain't easy. Perimenopause is not easy.
You know what? I have to say, I find it fascinating that we get to have children
Yeah,
and we also get this.
I know.
I'm like,
Yeah,
really? Dad? I kind of would like to have a conversation with you about that because, well, childbirth was definitely a beautiful experience and yet the most scariest thing for me in the sense of like actually, I know you'll be shocked to know I didn't have my children naturally because I didn't learn of letting go. I didn't learn that there was truly a process that my body was going to happen. And I
yeah, okay.
literally freaked out, freaked out. And I
Yeah.
realized that because touring the hospital and doing all those things, we didn't have the like, Lamaze where they taught you how to
Mm.
properly breathe and have the baby. So it wasn't
Oh,
until at least for me, this was my experience. And I was like, okay, I need to
okay.
figure this out. And so I ended up with a C-section because I stressed my body out because I didn't know how to absolutely let like how my body naturally. And I interviewed someone and they said that, oh, what was the percentage? There was huge, I can't remember what she said, and I didn't look it up to, double check it. It was a large percentage that women don't have babies naturally. And
Really?
dare say it's a lot of that, like not having regular, you know,
Yeah.
flow of poop,
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
like letting go of things because
Yeah.
I loved being pregnant. It was beautiful. And I felt so thankful because I was later in life and not sure if it was even going to happen. And yet,
Right.
that process of like, okay, letting go is really important for the natural flow. And then I made my recovery 10 times harder because it was a
Mm.
C-section. It was all these things. And then not to do it again,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
There's so much learning in that process. So I love that you're ch stepping in, especially in the menopause spot, because there's like it just blows me away how confusing that space is, and not
So
recognize
confusing.
like this could be that or the sign is this, and there's just so many
Hmm.
pieces to it. So I will
Yeah.
love sharing your information because
Yeah.
that knowing is really important, and I think that because we tend to be busy, we
Hmm.
miss those little spots of awareness to say, no, 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 that's not right. And if you don't
Hmm.
fix it here,
Later down the line. And my biggest thing is symptoms are signs. Signs are symptoms, right? Like, for instance, like we have a headache. The first thing we do is pop, I don't, but Tylenol, Advil, right? I just have a headache. Well, no, that's your symptom. It's the sign is to go get some water, or maybe you need to eat, right? So
yes.
if you wake up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, if you're in perimenopause and the age 35, starts at 35, by the way, 35 and older, it's because your progesterone is low. Nothing more than that.
Isn't that fascinating? And like, it's
It's
not,
fascinating.
I think that that's really going to change, and we're all waking up to opportunities to live our best life. And
Yeah.
the greatest gift is when there's someone like you who has chosen in, you're taking that psychological training and the intense learning and education, and now you're blending that into what you're doing that can be a great gift because then that's a true change maker. It's not
Hmm.
how about you do this many calories and then you'll see results
Yeah, I know.
because that inflammation doesn't go away when you don't release the baggage of all the
Right.
other thoughts.
Yep. Yep. So,
I am so thankful to know you. And when this video is posted, we'll have all of Erin's information so that you can reach out and support yourself where you are from someone who has greater knowledge and has chosen to be in this space to support other women because that support system is so critical.
oh, thank you for having me. I enjoyed this.
Yay, I'm so glad.